So I think a big reason that a lot of people, especially in EMS, don't want to go into the entrepreneur space is because, at least the number one excuse I hear is because it's hard, because there's such a low success rate, because there are so many hurdles, there's so much time commitment, all of these things. And yes, that's true. There's a lot of time commitment. There's a lot of failures that you'll make. There's a lot of obstacles that no one really tells you about. And the number one issue that a lot of people run into is time. They have it in their head, and I've been guilty of this too, that it's going to take me X amount of time to do this, and then I'm going to be able to start doing this, and then I'm going to make this much money, and everything's going to go perfect. It never goes that way. It does not. I have a project that I've been working on now for this will be 4 years that I thought was going to, turn around in 6 months. And that doesn't mean that there's an issue with the project. It's that you run into friction. You have a lot more challenges that come up, things you didn't expect or anticipate that are normal, that are perfectly normal parts of the process. But it takes time and it takes dedication. And the reason that the success rate is so low is because a lot of people tap out once they hit kind of a certain level of friction, and they just say, you know what, it's not worth it. I just want to go back to doing my, regular shift work, and I don't have to deal with all this. And I get that. Not everybody's meant to do that. But I want to dispel the idea, though, that just because it's hard, it means it's a bad idea. No, it just means that it's hard, and it's meant to be hard, and it's meant to build your character through this. And you will have to change. Your plan will have to change as you go. You'll get into something and you'll realize, okay, well, the idea I had initially starting this isn't actually going to work. So let me shift it a little bit. Let me change gears some so that I can still accomplish the end result. Because again, like we've talked about before, you need an end goal, a vision in mind before you can start taking steps to get there. So if you have a vision that you are very much married to, and maybe you learn that there's aspects of that vision that need to be overhauled, and that's normal too. That's again just part of the process, part of the experience. Amazon, when it first started, it was just Jeff Bezos in his garage, and it was only meant to be, an online retailer for books. Well, now obviously look at what it's become, because he kept moving those goalposts. Every time he hit an objective, he pushed the goal on to the next goalpost, and the next one, the next one, and the next one, and kept going. That's very much that mountain climber mentality that I talked about in one of the earlier videos. You're constantly leveling up. You're constantly moving the goalposts back because you want to keep doing more. And that doesn't mean that every business has to be run that way, but that level of dedication and consistency you need to be willing to do for years. If you're truly committed to something, you're truly committed to digging out of whatever hole you're in, it's going to take time. It's going to take a lot of fucking time. I had hoped to be doing these projects full time several years ago, and that's just not the way it's worked out. But things are still moving, things are still progressing. You have to be full send committed to what you're doing, because if you're not, then you're not going to stick with it and it's not going to happen. And I've come to embrace the idea that purposeful hardship is good. Like when you set out and you want to start a business, you want to in some way switch up your life. It's going to be hard. There's going to be difficulty. And instead learning to embrace that difficulty and say, yeah, I want this. This is good. Bring me more. And when you have that mentality that bring me more, come get it, when you apply that every day, you'd be amazed at the things that can get done. You'd be amazed at what your dreams can turn into. Yeah, the project that I started 4 years ago, in no way, shape, or form did it look like what it looks like now. It's better, and it's going to be more impactful. It's going to be more beneficial, in my case, to our profession. And I've not given that dream up. It's been hard. It sucked. The timeline has not been what I wanted, but you don't give up, because you're literally always just one breath away from breaking through whatever it is you're working on. If you quit early because it's too hard, there's too much friction, you'll never know how close you actually fucking were to what you were aiming for.